Well, thank you all for joining us. And basically what we're here to talk about, it says the title, New Models, Altering Revenue Generation and Customer Engagement. Basically, enterprises, as you all probably know, are exploring new business models enabled by technologies to create new revenue streams and engage customers. This was true even before the COVID-19 pandemic, and it's even more true now for many companies. So we have 4 enterprises on stage from different sectors and have different pedigrees, and they've all gone through some changes. So in this session, we're going to be looking at how their business models have changed and what models are working for them right now. Is their revenue more diverse now, and if so, in what ways, and how all of this is changing the way they engage with customers and what happens next. So we're going to cover all of that in the next 35 minutes or so. So the question I wanted to start off with is that we were talking about this before. The pandemic really has impacted business models and revenues to different degrees for a lot of companies. And I wanted to talk about the impact that COVID has had on your companies. But to preface that, I want to ask, in 2019, 2 years before the pandemic started, were you already looking to evolve your business models or undergo some kind of digital transformation? And if so, then what impact did COVID have on that, whether it's your digital transformation strategy, your business models, or what have you? So we can go down the line, I guess. So maybe, Vili, let's start with you.
Sure. So I think for us, I'm mainly going to talk about KEF, our hi-fi audio brand. We joined the company around 4 years ago. We were brought in to try to go through a digital transformation and looking at how we can accelerate e-commerce. And so we started this before the pandemic. And 2 years in, we pretty much built the digital ecosystem from data structure, data warehouse to marketing technologies, and being able to deliver global marketing campaigns at a global level across the different regions. So it sounds a bit simple, but there's a lot of integration, automation, and learnings for us internally as well. So I think in that sense, the pandemic didn't help us or let us realize we needed to do this. It's more accelerated and made our jobs much easier in a sense, because it was mostly internal organizational change rather than anything. That was the biggest challenge. So I think that's where we are now.
Okay, thanks. Eric, let's go with you now. HK Express, I know, has had a pretty rough COVID period, but where were you before COVID, and then what happened after that?
So challenge is an understatement for us, right? We're an airline, so if anyone has it tougher than us, please raise your hand. Probably not. So the one thing out of this, I think, is resilience for us, right? Now, when I was approached for this topic, I think it was a very interesting one. It's also a huge topic, right? New models. And we can approach it from many point of view, right? From either a tech point of view, which is the whole thing about today with the CDOs and all that. You can approach it from a customer point of view, which I'm actually very glad also to see. There's a lot of conversations more around customer experiences. I know some speakers are going to be speaking about that because after all, it's about the customer, right? And I'm really glad to see more and more conversations surrounding this. Or we can also approach it from a brand point of view, which is also my purview. And these are all interconnected. Now, I think when we are talking about new, obviously the elephant in the room is the pandemic, right? So for us, definitely we've been approaching a lot of things very differently. If not, I've not been busier, so I really envy you when you say your job is easier this year. We've been doing a lot, but for the purposes of today, I'm mainly just going to be talking about two. Number one, customer centricity, using technology to feel it and enable it, right? So when the pandemic started, right, our first priority is taking care of the consumer, being present to the consumer, right? So we started offering, all these very flexible refunds and whatnot that the consumers are looking for, and focusing really on what the consumers want during this point of time. And I'm happy to say that this has resulted in quite good resilience for our brand. I mean, if you look through our Facebook wall, you see we still get a lot of advocates, standing up for us, saying, hang in there, we want to fly with you, and all these kind of things, which, as we all know, in a social space, is a very, very difficult space for all brands. There's a lot of emotions in there, especially for airlines for the past year. So I think we've done fairly well. We've also introduced a lot more communication channels as part of our omni-channel experience for the customer, so that they can reach us at any point in time, fueled by technology. And at this point in time as well, really looking at, when we have big disruptions like this, what we can do, to go about it. So this is also a huge project that we are running at the moment, using some technological means that involve like at least 5 to 8 different departments in the company. Now, this has started before even COVID started in 2019, to your question, right? So that's one part, in terms of customer centricity. Secondly, it's about doubling down on digital. Again, when 2019 came, which we now call business as usual, before was the good days, now we're looking forward to that. We were already on our digital transformation journey. I think this has just accelerated it, to your point. Now, in the airline space, we are never short of data, right? In fact, data analytics in the 70s, started in the airlines. As you know, even machine learning and all that is one of the more advanced, because it takes a lot of data coming together to put an airplane in the sky, So for us, it's not about a lack of data, but how we sew it all together. So we are still in this journey, and we are utilizing all this data in various parts of our company as well. Now, in terms of digital experiences as well, for the past 1 or 2 years, we've been using this time to ensure that the digital experience is of zero friction to the consumer when they do come back. So there's a lot of optimization on a continual basis, A/B testing, whatnot, hundreds of cases, just to make sure that when they come to our channel, we just make it easier for them. Yeah.
Okay, the customer centricity part is really interesting to me, because particularly from an airline point of view, customers need for it to be frictionless as possible when you're dealing with refunds and cancellations, rescheduling, and things like that. So it's really great that you put that right at the front of everything to make it easier for them.
Exactly. Just to make this point on that. And for us, our motto is simple, seamless, affordable. Seamless is one of the core pillars of what we offer to the consumer. As an LCC, you want things to be as simple as possible for them.
Right. Matthew, let's hear about what's happening with Jardine Restaurant in terms of where you were before COVID-19 with revenue streams and business models, and where you are now. I would assume the restaurant business is taking a bit of a hit from COVID as well.
So actually, I joined Jardine Restaurant Group in 2019, the year before COVID. Actually, the entire Jardine Group, they keen on go digital, and that's why they got some new management team, including myself, on different BU. So I'll be one of them. So we formally kind of strategies for the business transformation for sure. So within this context, digital is a part of it, a core part of this area. So before COVID, we think about what type of experience to deliver to our customers. So what F&B industry should look like in the digital landscape. From a business perspective, how to really ensure this is a sustainable business. So all these questions we did discuss, but definitely COVID did help a lot to accelerate the whole thing. So in 2019, we set up a new e-commerce team. We invest quite a lot in data, martech, lots of new talent with, we will say, with type of relevant skill set from other industry jump into this domain, because within F&B industry, actually no one is doing e-commerce. is quite interesting at that time. I'm not aware of before I joined the company. So lots of mindset change need to work on in this area. But I think we're back on the right track. So once I remember early of 2019, once the news about COVID spread out, and the tactics that we see how China's react, and we take 3 days to change lots of things, adopting some best practice from China to Hong Kong. Because the foundation is right overdue. So that is more on how we really serve the customer from a ordering or fulfillment perspective, because even we can allow the customer to order for online or whatever channel they're willing to interact with, the fulfillment is still the issue, because I think hygiene, safety is another key concern for F&B industry. So that is the other key area we stick with. So we secure the supply chain. We do lots of things to ensure customers with confidence about our hygiene and food quality. And the brand itself did help quite a lot as well. And that is another key area, is non-tech, non-digital stuff is the foundation. One more thing is in our organizations, we operate different brands across Hong Kong, Taiwan, Vietnam, and Myanmar. Different markets have different level of impact by COVID. In Vietnam, it's completely locked down. Our staff cannot really go down to their apartment. They need to stop or stay with their home. If they really need to fill in the fridge, they need to ask the army's permission. So there's a lot of issues like this. So staff willing to work at home. Lucky that in 2019, we have instructions. All our staff, they need to really get a notebook. We invest in it. We change our office style to a kind of co-working space style as well. The original intention is trying to create and let them feel the culture of openness and the cultures of collaboration. But turnout after COVID came, because everyone got a notebook, we already ensure our team can work remotely, and it helped quite a lot, and ensure we can really take the challenge to make change. But follow this trend, employee safety and our concern about employees, another key area is, again, it's non-tech, non-digital, but that is the core, because we're talking about F&B industry, so talking about food. So for that part, they can't have any kind of daily necessity. We were wary of that. So in Myanmar, they are in a civil war as well. Before that, we actually ship food and daily necessity to their home. So I think during that hard time, I would say we really buy the trust from our staff. We prepare for that. Once the situation get to normal or relatively better, we will sure our staff will deliver a best service and best quality of product to our end consumer. So that is another sign of kind of transformation or what we did in COVID, that completely out of the scenes of digitals or technology, but that is critical, because I remember in the previous panel, one of the comments really need to address the mindset change, but you keep asking them to transform. What is the purpose? Why we need to do it? What is the linkage with myself? So for all this kind of arrangement, a kind of, I would say, side product or another advantage that we take is we really buy the trust with our employees, and it helped quite a lot for us to push any new initiative, because they really trust that work. Yeah, so that is how we manage this stuff.
Okay, thanks for that. And Greg, what's your experience with SAP, either from internally or even what you're seeing with your customers?
I think it's a technology vendor, SAP. Be honest, we have relatively minimal impact from the COVID, because most of the technology vendor, we prepare our colleagues who can work anywhere, anytime, around the clock. So we have no limitation about work anywhere. I think the challenge is about, as a vendor, we are not just selling our solution through e-store. So the COVID for us is about impact how our interaction with the customer. Because at the end, today's, whoever going to adopt a technology is just not acquire technology and plug in. Every single company, the way they adopt technology will be a little bit different. Their kind of customization, the demand on the vendor advice, collaboration. The value of this SAP is about, we have a lot of business domain. even though we have technology, we have a lot of I would say the industrial consultant, how we collaborate all together with the customer. COVID, I would say, driving us to have more indirect collaboration. Because in the past, even though we have physical communication, so we have formal meeting, it's fine. But that formal meeting, usually we will schedule ahead. Because of COVID, somehow, I would say the end user, they get used to this kind of web stuff. So which means they somehow believe that they can arrange the meeting more flexible anytime, you know. It's good, it's bad. It's good is that we have more indirect touch. The challenge is that still this kind of indirect touch beyond is still not enough. Sometimes we all know that how precious to have this kind of physical event, physical interaction. I would say no matter what, virtual cannot replace physical. But again, if they can, we can, I would say, properly work all of them all together, it will definitely help everyone.
Okay, has your business model shifted at all as a result of all this? Is it really more about how you engage
beyond our
the
business
customer?
SP model doesn't change much. We have been changed from a traditional ERP vendor to the cloud technology vendor for quite a while, long before COVID. I think the challenge is about how this message really cascade across all around the world. Be honest, a lot of customers think of SAP equal to ERP. Beyond is much more than that. That's why today when I talk about analytics, it's not just reporting a dashboard, it's about the insight. AI ML is a buzzword to the user, how to take the insight out of the data. So technology is back them up. So how SAP combining technology, business all together to bring the value to business is how we're working all along. We are shifting away that we provide tailor-made solution, even though we're packaged, but at the end, how we tailor-made to the customer to help them to drive the business is the way how SAP pushing not only to the market, also to the internal team, internal people. We are not just telling the customer we have all this stuff, how this stuff can help the customer to drive the business. Yeah.
Okay, thanks. Let's talk about the business models now, and the business models that you have in place that are working for you, or maybe models that you tried and didn't work and you shifted to something else. It could be O2O, it could be direct to customers, leasing subscriptions, or whatever. So what are the models that are working for you right now? And also, to what extent has that diversified your revenues compared to a couple of years ago? So Billy, we'll start with you again.
I think for CAF, we are traditionally a B2B business, so direct to consumer is very new. So all of the digital transformation efforts and investment was to grow our direct to consumer e-commerce, as well as the partnerships with our retailers, hoping to grow with them as well. During the pandemic, obviously, some of the more progressive partners that we have also shifted their efforts and resources into digital and set up their own e-commerce. So in that sense, we are diversifying in that area. I think for us, it's more about changing from not saying changing, but shifting and expanding to a D2C model, and to grow customer experience and customer engagement strategies. Also, what's important for us is to know our customers. As a B2B model, most of the customer profiles, their data are kept on the retailer level, right? So we just sell into the retailers or distributors, and we don't know how it sells through. And so what was important for us is to set up the whole ecosystem so that we can start learning about our customers directly, speaking to them directly, enhancing our engagement channels. So in that sense, the pandemic really led to certain programs whereby we're piloting a CAF at Home program, which is a home trial program. It's a little different from just a 30-day trial and worry-free return. It's more than that. We implemented, WhatsApp channels. Facebook Messenger channels. We had live video chats, and also started KEF Sound Lab content platform to continuously engage and bring customers back to our platform. And also have direct knowledge in terms of, how to set up speakers in their homes, and aiming to replicate the sound experience, this transformative sound experience in the comfort of their own homes. So this actually really sparked from the pandemic. So I think those are the things. On the other hand, we also have invested in a content platform called soundoflife.com. That's more of an acquisition strategy. We don't talk about KEF at all. We create content around arts, culture, design, people, interesting places, and do podcast series with different interesting topics and interviewees. And it's more about cultivating a community and then slowly turning that into potential leads for KEF.
Thanks. And Eric, what about from HK Express in terms of the models that are working for you, and whether there's any revenue diversity resulting from that?
Yeah, so maybe it's better for the other panelists to talk about revenue at the moment. So for
Fair
us,
enough. You're not under oath.
To talk about engagement. So I think acquisition for us this year has been, but I'll just make the same point. We have and always will be an e-commerce business. So we didn't start with any brick and mortar or any B2B whatever. So we've been that way since we started. Yeah, so I think we're very agile that way, and the point is making it simple and seamless, as I mentioned earlier. But maybe the others can contribute in terms of the shift, right?
Okay, Matthew.
Yeah, sure. For our case, I think during COVID, lots of people, they kickstart a new habit to order food from platform. Uber Eats, Foodpanda, delivery. This is the common platform in Hong Kong. So we are operators, so definitely we'll work with them for sure. But that is not the key, because this is the market norm. What we did is, as I mentioned, we set up an e-commerce team in 2019. We aggressively to grow this part. We did lots of testing to enhance the online performance, and we test lots of different type of market to see how to really make the change with scale, not just in Hong Kong, but also in Taiwan and Vietnam. And even for Myanmar, we do kickstart the similar strategies and tactics as well. So COVID did accelerate for sure, but one thing is really encouraging, before and after. This number actually is you're able to Google it, so I think I can share with that. Within a group perspective, we are operating around 1,000 restaurants across these 4 markets right now. More than half of our revenue actually come from digital. I think within the F&B sector, we are one of the few can really go up to this percentage. So in some market, especially Taiwan, the percentage, the open numbers, the numbers that we really tell to the media is over 70% in Taiwan. So in Taiwan, the entire company, not just the team, they position themselves as a digital and e-commerce company, including the GM. That help a lot. This help us to do talent acquisition. This help us to adjust how do we invest for the business to build a better future. So this is for existing business, I would say. We did something, but the trend is there. Whoever play in this industry, I think they will hit the same result very soon. So another key pillar that we bet on is we build our new future. So what will be the future restaurant look like, or what will be the new business model that we need to tap with? Again, COVID accelerated the entire sector, but before that, we do explore in this area, and we kickstart. I'm lucky that we kickstart on that can catch a trend. In F&B sector, the kind of hot topic about dark kitchen, ghost kitchen, or cloud kitchen in Hong Kong usually being called as top the market, this is a kind of cloud kitchen. We do operate a cloud kitchen model as well. Without shop front, you don't see any restaurant under this domain within managed by our group. We only identify some spot that can have a good capability to do delivery. We incubate new virtual brand. Right now, we have more than 10 virtual brands in market. No one aware of it, or we never tell. This is the brand or new brand under our group. So this is the new business model that we are testing out. The growth momentum is really encouraging. It's really strong momentum. And we do see the opportunities not just in one market, it's really a worldwide trend. So we will further invest in this area to ensure we can make sure the company can be a really sustainable business in coming futures. Yeah, but this model will really help us to address a different type of uncertainty in market, because without the shop front, it's much easier to manage the cool. It's much easier to manage the productions with different type of scale. So this is how we do address our business model in market. So existing business and new one.
And Greg, anything to add?
So I will share with you some of our customer, what they are working on. I think the reality like e-commerce or e-marketing is nothing new. The challenge is a lot of new e-commerce. They may want to incorporate your product and services. How IT can incorporate their e-commerce or e-marketing together with, to make it simple, embedded into other website. To make it automated, integrated instead of IT, every single new e-commerce comes in, they need to have a separate reg. This is one of the hardest challenges I do see. That's why a lot of CIO come to us that how SAP you can help us to automate everything. Not just e-commerce, e-marketing. It's about integrate with the entire ecosystem. Yeah. A second is about I would say customer data platform. Because at the end, suddenly you have a lot of customer, partner, supplier. So the relationship getting more complicated. And secondly, there are a lot of digital footprint. How you as a customer can capture all the digital footprint together so that you have a golden record of your customer. You know when and how you can cluster upstairs other stuff. So whether there's a platform for you to automate, enrich your customer profile, this is something I do see. And also we are helping customer to build this kind of platform, because at the end there's some solution in place. Otherwise, there's a lot of work IT need to work on to enrich this customer profile.
Okay, thanks. All right, we have some questions coming in from the audience, and we'll take one of these now. I think it's two versions of the same question there, but this is for Matthew, I believe. For Jardine, do you do your own delivery and logistics for the delivery food model, or are you partnering with existing solutions?
A very smart question, I would say. That this is the key. We do own, and we do invest in the delivery management system. I truly believe direct to consumer is the key to survive and to ensure the company with really good enough capability to compete with others player, because usually in market, especially digital partners, they will convince brand owner or operator to onboard the platform, right? So once you onboard the platform, traffic come from them, customer come from them. If the fulfillment is operated by them, so what are you owning? And that is something very important. So traffic, we own it. Operation platform, we own it. Delivery freight, we own it. We have store, so for pickup, definitely is our asset for sure. But at the same time, we do co-op with platform as well. We just need to really make the balance between the proportion from platform versus our own channel. So a direct control of your own business is still the key, but really how to adjust your business in this digital landscape is something you need to really roll it out. Otherwise, I can't say being it up, but you in a very passive position, because things change so fast. If you're really lacking of self, you're never able to make a judgment that whether you onboard platform or not, you have no choice on that. And this did happen last years in the F&B sector. Lots of restaurants, no matter big chains or a mom and pop shop, all onboard the platform, and that is good. I onboard as well. But after that is another story.
Okay, thanks for that. One more question I want to ask before we go to some more audience questions, if we have time. We talk a lot about the new normal and how the changes that companies have gone through are the way things are now. There's no way you're going back to the old models once COVID is over with. So now that you have these new capabilities, these new models in place, what do these changes mean for you going forward in terms of strategies and business opportunities and whatever? What are you going to do going forward now that you have these in place? Billy, we'll start with you.
I think for CAF, it's about finding the win-win-win situation between the brand, the customer, and trade. So on our D2C CAF.com, I mean, it's natural for the trade and distributors to feel that this is another channel to compete with revenue. But we have to convince them it's otherwise. All the marketing spend, all the efforts that we're putting in, the brand campaigns uplift the entire brand in their own markets. So it should also uplift their sales and awareness. So things like thinking about having book a demo portals on our website and driving footfall to our retailers. So these are the things that would convince and influence how they see us, not as a competitor, but as a partner. And I think the hard thing is we have to split sort of resources between the new business model and the existing, and we have to find a good balance between the two. So with the continuous involvement in the content platform and also integrating the CAF.com with our O2O channels. Especially in Hong Kong, we can pilot a lot of things because we have our own showroom. So our CAF.com is what we call our digital showroom, but for our offline flagship store in Central, that's where we can do O2O strategies. Often we create partnerships with music brands, concerts, and have, I would say perks for our members. And that's how we do a lot more in terms of the O2O strategy. And then recently from that showroom, we recently opened a shop in Harbour City, and that's also part of driving further new revenue. But on the other hand, for customer engagement and customer centricity, we also started a small project on opening up a CAF music room. And that's where we create a lot of events and do a lot of customer engagement there in person.
Okay, thanks. And Eric, what's the way forward for HK Express?
Yeah, definitely I think we can all agree we are not traveling the same way and not likely for the near future. So, I mean, in the new normal, or what I love to hate, is I think the expectation from the consumer has hyper accelerated, right? In terms of expecting more trust from companies, especially one like us, as well as a company with a clear brand purpose, because of what's happening in the world right now, Now, for us, it's very important because a big part of our target audience are Gen Z, who we know as well, has company and brand purpose as one of their key purchasing criteria as well. So what does that mean for us? Now, in a new normal, we need to reimagine what travel looks like. Yeah. So these are all about say, for example, hygiene measures and all that, which Matthew alluded to earlier on. That is business as usual. That is a normal expectation and needs to be done to a very high level by every airline out there. We've also experimented with travel passport, on how that's going to look like, between, different regions, different countries, navigating between the travel restrictions. I'm sure you guys have also read, how difficult it is, because of all the different vaccination policies and whatnot. So the world and travel needs to find a consistent language moving forward for that. Yeah. What else? We are looking at touchless travel as well. Yeah, because of obvious reasons, and working closely with key travel partners as well as government departments as well. For example, the Hong Kong airport, on how you can travel, with being touchless most of the way. So a lot of these are enabled by technology, but with consumer at the center. Yeah, so that's I think for my takeaway for today is technology is an enablement, right? But we can't lose sight of what we are trying to achieve, which is doing it for your customers.
And Matthew, how about Jardine Restaurant?
Yeah, so again, for F&B, people need this type of product, especially with serving mass market. So something won't change, or I would say that is the core capabilities or value that we need to sustain, including the hygiene, trust between customer and the brand, and our caring about staff. So all these stuff we will secure, no matter new normal or new normal. That is fundamental stuff we need to stick with. To deal with the new business challenge or business context, I would say how to really ensure the team with really a good visibility to deal with different type of uncertainty is something that we want to further support them. So how to really train up their capability to be more data-driven, give them right tools to work agile in terms of react to the market change is something that we're still working on. In terms of business model, as I just mentioned, we do create something new while we enhancing our core business. So that part we will keep it on for sure, but further invest in the people to equip with the right skill set to ensure our valuable staff able to deal with the upcoming uncertainty is something that we truly believe that even we don't know what will happen in coming few months or coming futures, but if we can have the good stickiness with the employee and the company, I think they can feel it. And with the right people, with the right culture, at least we have foundations to ensure we have the confidence to deal with the uncertainty that we are not yet aware of what it is. So this is how we see the situation, and that is really key for us because F&B eventually is still talking about people. The value from people is quite high in F&B sector, and customer feel it, employee feel it, and for the management team, we do very care about this part as well. So that is something I want to emphasize because employee really able to feel it. If they got the sense of safety or they with the trust of the company, I think they will have a kind of innovative approach to deal with the upcoming challenge.
Okay, and Greg, last word to you.
Yeah, I think I can share with you about what we see about the customer, because generally we are trying to help our traditional legacy SAP customer to migrate to the latest version, what we say is S4. But the challenges is about the core system migrate to the latest version. It's a huge surgery. I always say that it's a kind of heart surgery. How any company willing to do this kind of heart surgery? They knew that they have to do, but they need more justification. That's why from SAP one, we want to look at it from a more business angle, not from a technology angle. We want to look at it from a full business picture, how SAP, different kind of technology all together to help customer to justify. Yeah, this is how we intend to help customer, not purely from the technology. Yeah.
Okay, thanks. And we have more questions from Slido, but we don't have time to go through them now because we're out of time. So thank you very much, Billy, Matthew, and Eric and Greg for a great conversation. Give them a round of applause, please.